Siddhartha Gautama was born in Lumbini, in what is now Nepal, around 563 BC. His father, King Siddhartha, heard a prophecy that his son would either become a great ruler or a spiritual teacher, determined to keep him on the throne. The king raised the boy in complete luxury and isolation from the world's pain. No sickness, no old age, no poverty, no death could enter the palace walls to the king. Hiding suffering was the only way to protect his son's destiny, but no wall can silence the cry of a soul longing for truth. Even surrounded by music and beauty, Siddhartha felt a deep emptiness. One day he left the palace in secret and saw three things that shattered his world: a sick man, a frail old man, and a corpse. In that moment, he asked himself, is this what life really is? Is this what awaits us all? That night, he watched his wife and newborn son sleep. He kissed them goodbye without waking them. Then he stepped out into the night, not to escape, but to seek. He left behind palaces, titles, and comforts, to become just another seeker in the forests of India, but within him a storm had begun, one that would lead him to the edge of death and the light beyond it. Siddhartha found spiritual teachers and ascetics who believed the body was an obstacle to enlightenment. They taught that only through pain and deprivation could the soul be freed. So he began extreme fasting-going days without food or speech. He reduced his meals to one single grain of rice a day. Sometimes he drank only river water and sat in silence for hours. His body wasted away, but his mind grew sharper. In the silence of hunger, thoughts began to dissolve. New insights emerged, visions appeared. But with time, the physical toll became severe, fainting hallucinations, weakness beyond measure. One day, he collapsed by the river Niranjana. Between life and death, a village girl named Sujata found him. She offered him a bowl of sweet milk and rice. For the first time in years, Siddhartha accepted nourishment with humility. In that moment, something changed within him. He realized extremism was another form of bondage, that punishing the body did not lead to freedom. It was a moment of profound clarity. He saw that neither the palace nor the forest held the answer, but something in between. That night, he walked to a sacred tree and sat beneath it. With one vow on his lips, I will not rise from this place until I find the truth. And thus began his 40 days of deepest silence, the fast that would transform him forever. Siddhartha sat beneath the Bodhi tree in lotus position, with his eyes half closed and his heart wide open. He entered a state of deep meditation, and for nearly 40 days he did not move. He fasted in body and in thought. Spiritual texts say Mara, the Lord of illusion, came to test him. He sent visions of fear, desire, pride, and power. Beautiful women danced around him. Demonic armies hurled weapons that turned to flowers in the air. Doubts whispered in his ears, but Siddhartha remained still. He did not resist nor indulge. He simply observed. Each temptation passed like a cloud in the sky. His breath slow, his presence unshakable. In that fast, he felt the suffering of all living beings. He saw his past lives and the endless cycle of birth and rebirth. He understood what caused suffering and how it could end. He emptied himself of ego, of illusion, of fear, and a pure awareness began to rise. It wasn't just fasting. It was a descent into the depths of consciousness. His body weakened, but his spirit became vast like the ocean, and as the final night approached, something divine began to awaken. What Buddha practiced 2,500 years ago is now being validated by science. During prolonged fasting, the body enters a state called autophagy. In this state, old damaged cells are broken down and recycled. The 2016 Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded to Yoshinori Osumi for proving this cellular process. Fasting cleans inflammation, restores the immune system, and may slow aging. Fasting also increases BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. This molecule improves memory, focus, emotional stability, and brain plasticity, according to the Journal of Neuroscience. Even 24 to 72 hours of fasting boosts BDNF dramatically. Imagine the mental clarity after 40 days of silence and fasting. Science agrees fasting renews not only the body, but also the mind. It also lowers insulin levels and improves blood sugar regulation, reduces inflammation markers like IL-6 and CRP, and supports hormonal balance. Fasting acts as a system reboot, turning off chaos and turning on healing. Neuroscience have discovered that deep meditation and fasting activate the same brain areas, the same ones responsible for empathy, compassion, spiritual joy, and transcendence. Buddha didn't need brain scans, but his fasting triggered mechanisms we are only now beginning to understand. It wasn't self-torture, it was sacred biology. His body dissolved its noise so the soul could speak, and when it spoke, changed everything. At dawn on the 40th day, Siddhartha opened his eyes. The world around him was the same, but he was completely different. He had seen suffering its root and the way beyond. He had awakened. He became the Buddha, the Enlightened One, and for the rest of his life, he walked barefoot, teaching what he had discovered, that life is full of suffering, but suffering has a cause, and that cause can be dissolved. He spoke of the middle way, neither luxury nor self-denial, neither clinging nor resistance, a path of balance between body and soul, between silence and action. He lived until the age of 80. He asked for no temples, no statues, no adoration, only that people look within. He showed the world that liberation was not outside, but in the stillness of one's own being. His 40-day fast was not starvation. It was rebirth, a sacred emptying, so something greater could fill him, light, truth, peace. And today, maybe you don't need to fast for 40 days, but maybe you do need one day of silence, one moment without distraction, to hear the whisper that's been calling you to awaken. If this story touched you, tell us in the comments. Have you ever done a spiritual or physical fast? Subscribe to the channel. And if you have your own story of awakening or healing, send it anonymously so we can share your light with the world.